Hi, I'm Tony Todd, and welcome to Throwing Heat. I'm here with my two co-hosts, Dr. Dan Ratner and Ross the Boss. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button, ring the bell for notifications, and click that like button. Today's guest is no one, but we have plenty of baseball to talk about. Let's do it, fellas.
Nice work, Tony. You aced that. And in the meantime, I'm kind of glad there's no guest. We've been trying to talk to each other about baseball, and we keep getting people in the way by talking to us. So, Tony, you were at the Angels game last night with Tyler Glasnow on the mound.
Unbelievable.
What?
I cannot believe this kid. He's from Hart High School, and I was privileged enough to have front row seats from my friends Joe and Sharon at Melissa's Produce, which is awesome. So I took my buddy Chip Foose and Smitty and Chip's girlfriend, and we just had the best time ever. And to watch this guy throw 100 miles an hour, Chip looked over at me. He's like, Tony, that says 100 miles an hour. I was like, yeah, he's going to continue to do that. And my buddy Ross informed me that he was sitting at 97.3 averaging Ross last night. Is that true?
He was out, yeah. He pitched 6 innings and his fastball averaged 97 miles an hour for the 6 innings he pitched. I mean, this kid, I don't know how they got him on Tampa Bay, but they wheeled and dealed and got him from the Pirates. Unbelievable deal they got. I mean, he's definitely going to be an all-star in the future. He's unbelievable.
I was going to ask, actually, if his average speed included changeups. I mean, if he was throwing 97 with changeups.
Just fastball.
Okay, I'm just making sure I knew. All right,
so you were at the game, Tony. Tell us about the game. How did Pujols? I heard Pujols try to steal base. How was that?
How was it?
Yeah.
Well, negative, but I don't like to downplay players. I mean, I know they're out there trying their hardest, but that's like me running backwards trying to steal second base. He should have never went, bottom line.
When was the last time he stole a base?
Maybe.
Oh, wow. The silence says no.
Little League?
No. He ran at least in like 2006. I know because I had him in fantasy leagues.
No, I think he stole one like this year. He did steal one like a few weeks ago.
Okay, now who's older, Albert Pujols or Tony La Russa?
Tony La Russa.
Right, depending on
Tony La Russa.
Pujols is 41 years old in America. He's 41 in America.
There we go.
I don't know how old he is in the Dominican. Maybe my age, 47. I don't know.
But how old's Tony La Russa? He's
76. He's 76 years old.
76.
He's the oldest manager in the league, and the White Sox are 15-12, which isn't too bad for the first month of April. But the White Sox supposed to be winning the division right now, and they're not. They're losing to the Royals.
Yeah. And they lost one of their best players, Roberts.
Yes, I was actually going to bring that up because you know what? He's on my fantasy team too. Now I'm going to trade him to Ross because he's injured, and Ross is going to deal me Kershaw. I think it's going to happen.
Is it Luis Robert or is it Robert? How do you say his name?
It's actually Robert.
It's Robert. Correct?
I guess he's part French.
Well, in America they say Robert.
That's right.
So he's
called him Lou Bob.
He's going until August, guys. I mean, it's a huge loss to the White Sox. You know, he is. I thought he's going to be a future. It still could be. I mean, he's out for 3 months, but he's a future all-star. This kid steals. He hits home runs. He scores runs, RBIs. I mean, how bad do you think this hurts the White Sox?
Tony, what do you think?
I think they'll be fine. I mean, it's just it gives the team and the person playing behind him an opportunity to prove themselves. So I think that who is this? It's basically just next man up. Step up, play well until he gets back, and then hey, maybe you may deserve a position on the team. Who knows?
Yeah, and listen, I mean, a manager like Tony La Russa is going to do a good job talking people. You know, he's going to do that good job with next man up attitude. I don't know. I mean, I wonder how is that a lost art, the next man up mentality, or is that like how much of that is in the league these days, Tony?
Well, I believe that. I mean, these players are so talented that they're just waiting for their opportunity. It's just my impression. I mean, my opinion. I mean, and I just it's all about opportunity because there's a lot of stars that have been made from someone else getting injured.
Now, Tony, you actually grew up in Santa Monica. You've been around baseball players a lot of your whole life, and you actually helped a lot of the guys that we see in Major League Baseball now. You helped them when they were kids. Who are some of the players that you got to interact with and you got to coach and you got to help? Tell us a few of them, not all of them, just a few.
Well, just having interactions with, the late, great, Tyler Skaggs. He's from Santa Monica, and I've been knowing his entire family since he was born, and his mom is just an unbelievable, mother, and his dad, Dan. They're just great people. But to see these guys since Little League, Tyler Skaggs, the Heineman brothers, Lucas Giolito, Dominic Smith, J.P. Crawford, guys like that. I mean, Dominic Smith, his dad and I, we were on the same Pop Warner football team. His dad, Clay Smith. And it's just like to see the progression, like what this guy, he's a grown man now. And we've been knowing each other since, like I said, 7, 8 years old. And he has a kid that's playing in the big league. It's like, you're like the big uncle to everyone, you just feel so proud of all those players. But I'm really touched by the actual players who are actually from Santa Monica, Tyler Skaggs, Lucas Giolito, the Heineman brothers. They all played at the Santa Monica Little League there. And, even, Connor Green, who's with the Baltimore Orioles in the AAA organization, I feel that he should be up within a week or two. And, and the guys that did not make it, I mean, you have Alonzo Gonzalez, Alex Turner. It's just such great talent has come from that Little League on 14th and Olympic in Santa Monica.
What's the secret? Why does this keep happening?
Hey, you got to ask the parents, man, keeping it together,
And you actually go to the draft. I mean, you're with these kids. You watch them play high school. You just don't like watch them play Little League and give up on them. You're a guy that follows their career. You're there for them for the draft. You actually help them get an agent. I mean, how much do you do for these guys like throughout their career?
It's just, I'm not a father myself, but I feel like I'm a father to these kids because I've always wanted to be a dad. So if there's anything, I know a pretty good amount of people in the baseball business. And I would always tell my friend Harold Reynolds and say, Harold, I told him about Dominique when he was in the 7th grade. Let's see, Lucas Giolito, 7th grade.
That's unbelievable.
All these guys.
And you knew these guys would be Major League Baseball players.
Oh, yeah. If they did not get hurt or something, tragic happened to them, because you can see the work like Scotty Heineman. I remember watching him in Little League. He would just get so upset and cry when he made an out. He just had that passion to be great, and he ends up making it to the big leagues. It's just stories like that. And it's just like, just to be around these guys, it's just so nice to see,
That's great. And I got to give you credit, Tony, because everywhere you go, you meet people. I think you've met the entire world. Is it possible?
Well, the entire world? Well, I'm probably one phone call away from,
It's 6 degrees with Tony Todd. That's what I call it. 6 degrees of Kevin Bacon, 6 degrees with Tony Todd. And Harold Reynolds actually calls you the Super Scout on MLB on the MLB network. And how did that name come about?
Because I've been telling him for years, about these players since they were in Little League. And when it all comes to fruition, it's just like, this actually happened. So my friend Marcus Wilson, I told Harold about him when he was playing. He's about 7th grade, 8th grade. I said, Harold, this kid here is going to be a first-round draft pick. I guarantee you. And of course, Harold's probably listening to me like, yeah, Tony, be quiet. Just go watch the baseball games. So the year Marcus was drafted, I don't know the exact year, but national TV, I believe it says the Arizona Diamondbacks take Marcus Wilson in the first round. And Harold mentions my name on television, and it was a wrap. So now he calls me Super Scout.
And you actually have a great story. The kid who was drafted in the first round by the Mets last year, you actually knew his mom. Tell us the story about that real quick. I love this story.
Yeah, Pete Crow Armstrong's mom, I was fortunate enough to be in a movie in 1994 called Little Big League, baseball movie. And his mom was the actual mom to the kid. The movie's about this little kid who inherits the team, the Minnesota Twins, after his grandfather dies, and he becomes the manager of the team. So his mother is Ashley Crow, and years go along. Next thing you know, I know she had Pete, and next thing you know, I'm going to Pete's baseball games, and this guy is the #1 pick from the New York Mets. It was just incredible.
That's just crazy.
Yeah.
It's incredible. I mean, if you know Tony and you want to be in the major leagues, call him up now and be his friend, because you'll be in major league. You'll be a Major League Baseball.
No,
player.
listen, if you don't know Tony, get to know him, and that way you can get to the major league. Guys, let's talk about what's going on in the major leagues right now. So we got Christian Yelich. He comes back from the IR. He was there for one game, and then out with a back strain. He needs to talk to me because I cure back pain. We'll talk about that some other time. But let's just talk about baseball. What's your take on this when a guy gets back on the field in one game and then he's got to go back?
What's your take, Ross?
I mean, Tony, you know Christian, great kid. He's from Southern California. It's just an unfortunate accident. I mean, there's nothing you can do or say. These guys are professional athletes. They have the best trainers. They have the best workout programs in the world. And it's just a fluke. It's a fluke. And I feel bad for the kid. He wants to come back. He had a horrible year last year. He had the MVP season the year before that. And for me, it's just, if I owned him in fantasy, would be very upset, but I don't. So again, I'm upset just because I know he's a good kid, and he actually went to high school not too far from my house. But Tony, you've actually known Christian for a long time. Tell me what you think.
Well, I just think, bad things happen to good people. I mean, sometimes.
Yeah.
And he's a great kid. I mean, him and Ryan Braun, they started that foundation, California Strong, and that's been very successful. And it's, injuries is just part of the game. Injuries are part of the game. And like you said, maybe I can reach out to Christian and introduce him to Dr. Dan, and maybe he can help.
I would love that. I think that's a good idea, and I think any team Christian Yelich is on is going to thank me for it. But you know what? You said injuries are part of the game. What about Jesus Luzardo? Do you know what happened to him?
Tell us what happened, Dan. Do you mind?
Do you know it, Tony? Okay.
No, there's something about a game.
Yeah, like when I was a kid, we would play Nintendo, and we would play for hours. We called it Nintendo Thumb. It just would start to hurt just because you were playing for too long. Well, Jesus Luzardo was playing a video game, and he got frustrated and slammed his hand down and broke his pinky.
It's his throwing hand, pinky, not his other hand. His throwing hand.
That's right.
And he broke his pinky. He's on the DL, and he had the hardest part he had to do is tell his coach the reason why he broke his pinky. Can you imagine go up to your coach and say, "Coach, I broke my pinky." "Oh, what happened? You put a weight on it? You were playing catch and you did something?" "No, I was playing video games and I lost and I slammed my hand on a desk." I mean, that must be the worst conversation ever.
Right, but let's rewind back. Let's rewind back.
Okay.
Dan, Ross, you just signed a professional contract to play Major League Baseball. You're making millions of dollars. And you make your money how? Using your hands, right? You use your hands. So, I mean, slam something else down. Slam a book on the ground or something.
Anything but the hands.
Anything but your hands.
I know players that won't even shake your hand because they don't want to mess their hand up. Who was that baseball player that was trimming his trees with an electric saw, and he chopped the top of his finger off? There was a pitcher that did that years ago. I forgot who it was.
Abdullah Johnson. No, I'm just.
I know you, but I mean, it's amazing to me that these players don't treat their body like a shrine, and football players are pretty good with it. I've seen them not do stuff during the off season. But I mean, I have many stories and many contract stories. Like an example, really quick, Robin Yount in his contract said he could not race cars during the offseason. I went to college in Arizona. My friend was friends with Robin Yount. He actually used my ID to race cars in Arizona as Ross Mark. I was a top 10 mini kart driver because Robin Yount could not use his real identity, use a Ross Mark's identity. That's a true story. And I actually came in the top 3 winter season in Arizona as a top kart driver, which is unbelievable.
Let me guess, you probably still have the trophy right now, right?
Robin has it, but when I see him or when I talk to him, I always bring it up.
See, this is why I'm telling the audience, when we have guests on, we don't get to hear these things. I didn't know this about Ross. I've heard tons of stories. Where did that come from?
I mean, Tony Todd knows my friend Britt Latchman. He knows my connection with the A's and with the Arizona baseball players back then. But Tony, Dustin May, he's out for the year. Horrible situation for the Dodgers. The Dodgers had this deep rotation, deep pitching staff. with Price on the DL, they have Tony Gosselin on the DL. Now they have Dustin May out for a year and a half. I mean, do you think they still can repeat with all these injuries?
I mean, that injury hurt me because I had the opportunity to interview May last spring training when I was working for Topps Trading Cards. And he's a great guy. And I'm tired of these great things happening to good people. But it's Tommy John. We know that when you're throwing that hard, eventually, you're going to need a new ligament. So, and once these guys once they have that operation, they come back better, in my opinion. They come back throwing harder. But it's just sad to see. But I think the Dodgers have so much depth, though, Ross. I think they'll be okay.
Okay, who's in first place right now in the West? Quick, who is it?
Who won the World Series last year?
I'm just asking you a question. The Giants are in first place.
Okay, that's true.
Buster Posey is having like an all-star season. He's like the Buster of old. He hit a home run today. He's up to 7 home runs. He's hitting 350. I mean, the Giants are rejuvenated. I had them in last place. Starting the season, I had them in dead last. Their pitching staff looks like this. All these guys look like Cy Young. They unbelievable.
Yeah, right.
Are they for real? Or do you think it's just an April type thing?
No, but see, it's just like, when guys and girls get into relationships, it's hard. Everyone's happy the first few months, right? Yeah. Give it 4 or 5 months. Let's see what happens then.
I get it.
I mean, that's the Giants. They're not winning the West. The Dodgers will win the West.
Well, I like that take, and I think you're right. Meanwhile, I'm glad we moved off of all the injuries. We're going to call this show MASH. It was just like, what was going on with this? All right. So now let's also talk about the Mets fired Chili Davis. He was a San Francisco Giant.
Tony, I love Chili Davis.
I mean, Chili Davis played on like 100 teams.
Yeah, I know.
And he was a great player, but he was fired as the hitting coach. And the Mets are 11-12, but they've scored only 76 runs.
Lowest in the league.
23 games.
Yeah, lowest in the league.
Fewest in baseball.
I mean, Pete Alonso was devastated. He thought it was the wrong move.
Thank you.
I mean, I think you know what they do when the ship is sinking. For the first people they get rid of is the first mate. They never get rid of the captain. Yeah. So instead of firing the manager or doing something drastic like that, we'll just fire the hitting coach.
There's always a fall guy.
There's always a fall guy. So Chili Davis, congratulations. You're the fall guy. You're out of a job because your team can't hit.
And the players loved him. Ross and I, we had the opportunity to meet him a few years ago at Dodger Stadium, and they love Chili Davis. Pete Alonso, he has nothing but praise. I don't know his exact comments, what he said, but he was all praising his hitting coach, right, Ross?
He said it was all good. I saw the interview. He was very upset that he was fired. He said they fired the wrong guy. I don't know what that means, but secretly we kind of do. But I mean, the coaches can't go up there and bat for you. I mean, Tony and I discuss this all the time. Yeah. I mean, you have to go up there and pitch. You got to go up there and hit. And it's only 1 month into the season, and your team's just one game under 500. Come on, guys. And
I'll tell you what he meant.
One game out of first place.
I'll tell you what he meant. When he said they fired the wrong guy, what he meant is, I'm not the Mets hitting coach. What are you doing? You can't fire me if I don't have the job. All right, wait.
But I can see if they were like in last place. No, actually, I cannot. It's not his fault. I don't think it's Chili Davis's fault.
I think you guys are right. I mean, the hitting coach can't hit for the guys. We know Chili Davis is a great hitter. He's got it, and clearly the players love him. I think it's a bad move. All right, guys, let's talk about the Astros coming back to Yankee Stadium this week for the first time since 2017 and the trash can stuff.
Bang that can. I already heard I'm sure the Yankee fans will be yelling during batting practice. I'm sure the whole game they'll be yelling cheaters. I mean, the Yankees are mad because they felt they got their series taken away from them because the Astros cheated, which they did. So that all being said, this is the first time they'll be back at Yankee Stadium since the whole ordeal happened. And we'll see. There could be some fights. There could be some yelling. I mean, the fans are going to be very hard on the Astros. I'm excited to watch it.
I feel sorry for the outfielders. Maybe some batteries thrown at them.
The old Pittsburgh Pirate trick back in the day when they used to throw batteries at the players. I remember that. But I mean, it's a shame that happened. The Astros got punished, players got suspended, managers got suspended, and it put a dark cloud over their championship. It's something that people, won the championship. Oh, but you cheated. I mean,
It's sad they did it because, like remember the days when they had Bo Porter as their coach and they were losing like 110 games and then they ascend to be the World Series champions. I bet they were able to do that even without the cheating. They should have left that alone and it wouldn't tarnish their reputation.
Right. Well, fellas, bottom line, cheaters always get caught. So I'd say we end the show on that. What do you think?
I think that's a good idea. We don't want to cheat the audience.
No.
All right, guys. Well, this has been great. And I'd like to get some time with you guys without the guests. Of course, we love our guests too, but we'll be back next week. Tony, you take us out.
Thank you, everyone, for joining us on Throwing Heat. Don't forget to subscribe. We're out. Peace.